I started working this piece, I was a student, so I was not ready to play it and have some short commentaries from my teacher. I really needed to work the technique and to prepare my fingers to get to explore these colors, this palette. So the first thing he said to me is that I should work like this, with a staccato, with negative reaction. On the right hand, etc. Now, the left hand, there are some chords. They were played like this, piano, and staccato very light, just with the fingers. Very simple staccato, and here the same thing. Just a little movement of the hand with the fingers, no articulation, no big movements, just very short. And the third variation was the same work with the two hands, you know. Went like this. Always with this negative reaction after the attack. And later on, he said I should play legato, but also with negative reaction. As you can see, it's very alive. It's very slow, but very alive, because the negative reaction is instantaneous relaxation of the hand and the fingers. So what happened is, inside you're very nervous, you're very active, you know. It's always explosive. What you it's instantaneous, you know, and you have to be very, very alert to be able to do this correctly. Anyway, the result is a leggero color, as it's written by the composer in the music. You know. And so on. Okay, so we can pass to the fourth variation. Here is completely different, and this is the way how Beethoven changes the colors and the technical problems and so forth. So here you have staccato in the middle voice and in the bass. That is what is written. So staccato is not like that, not the same qualities, not the same problem. So it's a finger staccato, but much less articulated. It's done with the hand, and the fingers just follow this impulsion coming from the hand. It's not a finger staccato. Finger staccato is this. This is finger staccato. But here now, here the movement comes from the forearm No? So it's a totally different situation. The left hand plays a little portando, and the result we have three qualities here. This note, and that, and this. So in fact, three colors. Now we don't play so slow then. There it is. Okay, very good. Then we pass to variation number 5. There you are. So here, this is a hand staccato. It comes from the wrist. We throw the hand like this to prepare. I'm sure when we really play, it's much smaller, the movement is much shorter, you know. But to prepare, it's a work of the whole hand. But then it will be very reduced. And here the same thing. In the left hand. But here there is a special problem. It's the distance between the first note and the chords that follow. And here. See? It's very far. How do we do that? How do we solve this difficulty? We have to throw the hand. No? Goes a very fast reaction. It's a kind of a rebound. No? It's by rebound. Yeah? And when it gets here, we have 4. How to get this very, very close to each other, because it is very fast. It's a small movement from the whole arm, the forearm. And the finger should not abandon the keys, you know. We can prepare like this. It's because we have to really know where to go, have a good position, and the 3 notes should be in equal importance, all very clear, so we prepare. But when we play, we should not leave the key at all. No? There's a movement inside the keyboard. There you are. So, but the right hand goes like this. And here's legato. So we change the finger here. We replace here the finger to link. Always the same fingering. Name shows. Always this replacement of finger here to link. And here there's one more. Because you're going here. And here is not linked, so you can leave and go there freely. So, problem number 1. the left hand with these chords. Problem number 2, the right hand with this first part, and then and a different color. All these things have different colors. This is one color. And here. Every time is a different color. And when we get to the end, again a new color. So how do you do that? Very legato. What I used to do is even to glide. Also, it's not the same that was here. Here it's a different color. And the movement is really very legato, very linked to the keys. Sound, very, very different from the rest. Very good. Now we reach variation number 6. Here is very difficult. It is a very difficult variation because we cannot relax at all. It has to be played with a fixed hand, and even like a grip, So it's all very, very nervous, very masculine, very even aggressive. I feel a bit aggressive here. Now, how to get this? How you learn this? So, my teacher said, you play like this. There's no relaxation at all. It's a very hard, very unpleasant form, touch form. And you don't have any stability on the keyboard. You have to hold your arms and your hands outside the keyboard, and you create a kind of a new stability outside. That means stability on your arms. It's your arms that give you this kind of line, guide, that guide your movements. So you have to keep it. How do you keep? The secret is to hold your arms against your body, against your trunk. Then you have this stability. The stability comes from this. Then you can do this, no problem, because you were holding here, see? And maintain this very unpleasant and your body follows, see? Otherwise you lose your stability, and stability really comes from this. And then you can play as it should, as it's called to be, masculine, I find. Masculine and very, very hard, very hard. So, you see, from the beginning until now, how many different things have happened, how many solicitations to your imagination, to your adaptation, that your body has to act differently, your hand has to act differently, your fingers have to have different behaviors according to each one. We are just number 6, we haven't even advanced much and already so rich, so many experience, so many learning things, Here comes a new one, variation number 7, very different from what just happened, very calm. Here we have this legato groups on the right hand. I try to really link, play legato, the upper part, because this part we can't, but here we can. Changing fingers. So we have to work to learn how to link the octaves by using different fingerings. You can change from the 5th until the 3rd. I use the 3, or replace doing things like this, changing 4, 5. 4, 5, 4, 5. Here I don't need to change the fingers, neither here. Here I do. Change fingers. Here I don't really change the fingers. Now here. We have to play this very much inside the piano. Now, what did my teacher say? How should I work this? He teach me to do this. An octave that is articulated with the fingers. It's not done like this, but because in fact these fingers have to be very active, so not to glue to the key. See, it goes so fast. If you don't have this articulation, this capacity to articulate, it's going to end up just gluing to the touch, and you cannot, to the key, in fact, to the key, and you cannot advance. It will be like, these octaves have to be very, very active, and this is the only way to prepare. And then you obtain this amount. Okay, now variation number 8. Here there's a problem. Beethoven wrote it by 2, like this. But in fact, it's not to be played like this, you know. Because, why he wrote like this? Because you cannot link. There's no way to link. So, you have to jump to reach the next one. And, but in fact, even if you jump, you have to think of the big line that puts together these two measures, the two first measures, so that you don't have this effect. It cuts completely the phrase, so that you have to be very careful. So that you can feel the phrase, you know, but it's still jumping. But jump in a way that's not so dry, so cut. You know? How do I do that? I jump at the last moment. So I accelerate coming from here to here. Same thing. This is the preparation, just the preparation. So that you learn to advance, so we don't feel so much of this cutting here. Yeah? There you are. And here is the same problem of the former one. This work. Etc. Here there's something very, very interesting. Variation number 9. There are 3 voices. One voice that's really just doing this, etc. The middle voice goes like this. It's very repetitive. And the first voice So, what is the meaning of this, you know? We have to play this in a very dark, almost dark way. Mysterious, and these two voices are like a broom, right? And here's light, here's dark, and here's light. And it goes to the end like this. controlling this movement, very indifferent, like something that I don't feel, it's just there, but no importance. And it goes like this. And this one, it's a little bit more active because the rhythm is different. So this gives a movement. This is the one, this voice is the one that gives the movement to the whole thing. So this should be a little bit more colorful, with more brilliance, a little bit more brilliance than this one. Because it's the one that's moving. Huh? And this one should sing. So usually I use a movement of the whole arm. Why? Because I don't want this note all of a sudden to go very strong, you know? So I control the weight of the arm. Lifting. Lifting, you control the weight, so you take away the weight and you can really control the sound. You are sure that you're going to control the sound until the end. Okay, so once we've done this, there comes something very, very bright, very, very accelerated. Now, here, at the end, we have to play very much into the bottom of the keys, with practically no articulation at all. And we have to really rest the arm on these notes. And so on. Because this way you have an effect, you know, an effect of something very, very nervous, very anxious. You have to give this this feeling, you have to pass this feeling. Otherwise it's going to be just like an exercise. I've heard many people, and then it comes. There's no expression, there's no life to the piece, no? So if you want to give really a fire, this fire that you can feel here, no? Then you can play something alive, you know? And this hand is a hand that's really saying something. Not just a hand, no character, nothing on here. This hand, it's a hand that is almost dangerous, a dangerous hand that's trying to say something very brutal, very, very angry, very rageous. So, and then it goes to the following one that has the opposite situation, is the right hand that's going to do. So, the only way to get this effect is to play very much inside the key and with weight, using your weight. otherwise it's going to be superficial. This is not Beethoven, this is not music, it's just, I don't know, an exercise. I've heard this many times played this way, but really there's no life, there's no music. To get something alive, you have to really... something that holds to the end, goes all the way. And the right hand, etc. until the end. And then comes variation number 12. Totally another world. That leads to this. Bon, here we have the theme that comes back in the left hand. But completely transformed. It's another world all of a sudden. Since the variation number 12, it's so calm, so dignified, so noble. It prepares for this one. Yeah, here already is the theme also. It's going to come on the left hand of the next. But here, we have decided not to do a normal, not to use a normal touch form. Normal touch form could be... yeah? Okay, but I was looking for something different because there's something mysterious about this. That after all this explosion of revolt or whatever it was, it comes this peace. Yeah? And then from this piece, you are still in the same movement. With the theme coming to the left hand now. Exactly how it was on the right hand of the former variation. So we decided to use a very unusual form of touch form. That means it's a hand that has probably no character. It gives an impression of no character, no will. It's a lazy hand, a hand really no character at all, just it's like something that's abandoned itself. You know? And the left hand of it. Now, how do we get this effect? On one hand, we abandon the fingers, so they lay on the keyboard like this. They just lay there. And we move the hand on the arm. And the fingers are always laying there, abandoned. They abandon themselves, they abandon to the will of the arm. It's the arm that has the will now. The arm that's moving. The hand and the fingers. Because the fingers don't do anything. They just abandon themselves and they are there. And the arm is here, working. You see? And here, sure. But you're not going to play this very colorful because of this environment here, you know? This environment here is asking for something that can marry it, no? So the left hand also doesn't have much character, but it comes out very beautifully because it's a totally new color, absolutely new color, and a color that you don't hear very often in normal piano playing. And here it passes to the next variation in thirds. Sure, most of the people that I've seen and that I have heard, they play etc. Like that, but I don't want to play like that. Why? Because I'm coming from variation 12, 13. That is a very special hand, you know, very special sound, completely abandoned. So I'm going to play this also with an abandoned hand. It's going to be a staccato completely different because it has no real character. It goes like with an abandoned hand also. It's the arm that's playing. So it's a new color, something new. Nobody plays like this. So I was trying to bring something new and to this music, to give it more interest, to renew it. So that's why I use this kind of touch form for these two variations. Then comes variation 15. It's very, very emotional. Maybe it's the most, almost romantic part of the piece. So we are here. From the arm, from the elbow, from outside inside. Not only to link, sure it has to be linked, but also because it gives a bass, a deep bass to what's happening there. So we have a good bass for the So, these octaves are again octaves made with the whole hand, with a movement from the whole hand. It should be worded like this. As you can see, it is staccato but with negative reaction, so it doesn't stay. It's not this. It's really different. The hand's much more relaxed because it's just a staccato with no fixation. The hand's abandoned also. We throw the hand like this. So there is no fixation anywhere. Somehow it's very light. It's very light. It's not deep. It's not very expressive. Just. Now here the difficulty is the rhythmic. Here we have these triads, and here. Now, what is the difficulty? When you play this variation, you have to play thinking that the bass is the first note of what's happening in the right hand. If you don't think of this, this is the only way to play this rhythm correctly, because you have this bass here. The only way to put them together with a correct rhythm. Okay, now we have variation 17. And it's a different spirit from the former variations. This variation is a return to the minor key. We were in C major for a few variations, and now we're back to C minor. So it has a kind of a nostalgic, intimate expression. And the left hand is just very, very simple, of almost no articulation of the fingers, and the right hand singing. And what I do here, I lift my arm again to hold the weight, so it's a singing without weight, or without arm weight. Approach the end is the right hand that is going to play with fingers very much inside the keys, if no articulation at all. And the left hand sings a little bit. After that, we have a very explosive variation, number 18, with ascending gains, and this very powerful chords at the beginning. And here again, they are written legato, without any staccato, but I'm looking for a very powerful sound, and if I do it like this, I have this powerful sound. So I just put the pedal and keep it in the pedal, but I prefer to like this then. It's not the same effect. Here. I alternate hands because it gives a feeling of a glissando, a very quick glissando, and more energetic than. It's not the same effect. So it goes like this all the way, and 3 notes, 4 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes. Always like this. To the end. Not here. Here we can't. And goes again with alternating hands. Okay. I'm not very satisfied with this.
Do you like to repeat this number?
No, I can't. I think it's very difficult. Very difficult. Because it's very, I play this way, you know, and not everybody I've seen pianos doing. I can do, but you know what I'm looking for is character, and this.
But I think you make it clear. You made it clear.
Yeah.
It's different character.
Yeah. It explodes and is much more alive than just you know. Okay, so the following ones are very bright also, very bright, and I keep these chords in the left hand. Every time I play staccato, these big chords, to have an effect that's more bright, that's more powerful. No? Almost like this. But on the right hand, very close to the keyboard. We cannot play this leggero, it has to be legato and very profound. One big gesture. Every time when there's arpeggio, it's a long gesture with no leggero, nothing like this. Always very legato, very profound. And here. It's like one gesture, one movement for the whole arpeggio. You know? So, on the left hand at the end, at the 3 last measures, staccato. To reinforce the effect. You know? And then there are 2 more variations, very, very dynamic. So this is always the same color, the same touch form, very profound, with very strong fingers, and at the bottom of the keys going all the way. With the weight of the arm to help. And here. Now, these chords on the right hand, I don't do staccato because we need to have a more powerful effect of this accord. Only the third chord is staccato. So if I did staccato, it's not the same effect. So now, how to work this kind of touch form that's very, very deep, very profound. So you have to work with your arm. The fingers do not articulate at all, but they have to be very strong to support the weight of the arm. No? It's a very heavy sound, you know? The kind of sound you get when you use your weight of the whole arm. And the following one, it's an inversion. What was on the right hand goes to the left hand and vice versa. It's the variation from 21. So it's the same thing here. I'm playing a little bit faster now, but you can start slower. And then a little bit faster. So the fingers don't articulate at all. They really, but they resist here. See? They resist here. The hand is very firm here. And the chord also with the whole arm. Yeah? Play the chord, the hand advances a little bit. Not like this. It like explodes, you know. It's not the same. This goes very heavy down, and the sound is more alert, more alive. So then comes variation 22. In this variation I also use that touch form that I used later on before for another variation, but it's not so aggressive. It's not so aggressive. The expression is not aggressive. It's just a canon that falls one hand after the other. So I feel like it's something very heavy, you know? Very, very heavy. So it's the same hand, but not so staccato. It stays a little bit on the keys before it abandons the keys. So it's again a new color, and you play with the whole arm. And the whole arm is fixed somehow. Well, it's a new sound effect, you know, completely different from the other one. Even though I have the same hand, see? But the way of playing it is different. Because in the other one, I think let's see, was variation. Variation 6. Yeah? He was very nervous, very aggressive. But here, no, here is heavy. Yeah? Yeah, it's another image, another expression. So it's something heavy, but still very powerful. No? And Beethoven writes it always forte, with some sforzando there in direction of the last note. So after that we have a very, very calm, very interior variation number 23, and here you play completely inside the keys and very intimately. Yeah? I see this as something more sad, more interior, after this, all these very bright variations from variation 18, right? Now we are in variation 23 and it changes completely, you know? So it's very retained, very concentrated, you know? Something much more intimate, much more reflective and mysterious. So, immediately after this one we have variation 24, and again we have a staccato variation, but here we have a completely different staccato. I play it with extended fingers, like this. Why? Because here is joyful, it's all of a sudden we have a new thing going on, huh? Completely joyful, innocent, so we cannot do anything strong, anything serious, you know. So we look for sonorities that can really express this character much more light, much more happy. In fact, there are not so many happy variations here, but this one comes out of the group. So and the only way for me to get this effect is playing with a more relaxed hand from the wrist. With open fingers, now extended, and the left hand very, very soft, very light. Yeah? Variation 25, that follows more or less in the same spirit. hand, this sings a little bit because it's the most important note in the phrase. This is just an effect. So here I don't lift the arm, here I do. And here is a full passage in legato. Huh? The left hand, very soft. Just taking the note out of the keyboard, not giving, not giving the note, but taking it out. And here, with the arm following the movement. Huh? So, I don't have special way of practicing this, just using the arm and taking also the key from down up, and this in the movement. And here very legato. The same thing at the end. Always very legato. Now, variation 26. Again, we have chords and thirds, but here the character is also happy. It's not a heavy character, so I do it in a different way. It's another staccato. The hand is high, the fingers are more or less straight, almost straight. Yeah. And the chords are taking them out. That's another hand. The movement comes from the elbow with an arm that's fixed. So the chord also with a high hand fixed, and variation 27 has the same spirit, so we continue the same kind of staccato. I'm doing slower so you can see how it goes. Here, for example. Now I have this hand with these fingers fixed, and the whole arm fixed. Otherwise, it doesn't come like that. If I don't fix, if I don't have these fingers, it's a common staccato like anything else. So there's no novelty, nothing new, nothing special, right? If I do like that. You can see it's completely different. the sound and the spirit are the... So in fact, a pianist should look for colors, look for other ways of playing something, you know. You learn how to do a staccato, you learn how to play thirds in staccato, and you're going to use that same unique way of playing your whole life and apply it to everything. No, you can't do that. Every music, every different piece of music that you're going to work, that you're going to play, you have to find new touch forms to find new colors as well, you know. So I have done a lot of research here, not only for what I've learned from my teacher, but later on to compose my own expression according to my way of feeling the music, of seeing it, of understanding it. So, okay, we've done that, and now again, a very calm, very intimate variation number 28. It's just one long line, one phrase that's not broken, you know, just goes and goes and goes. Long line. So this right hand, very contained, with a very high arm, playing with the points of the fingers. And here, that old form of legato that we've seen before, with very contained fingers, very little movement. So we have just normally like this. But somehow it doesn't vibrate the same way. With a high arm, playing with the points of the fingers. It vibrates more and I can control perfectly the sound. So, after this one comes variation 29. That's again very bright, very dynamic, and there you go. Play very much inside the keys with all my weight, you know. Yeah? And the chords, the octaves in the left hand. With a firm, fixed hand. So we have two measures with these octaves in the left hand before he just plays with both hands together. I slow down at the end to prepare the arrival of variation 30. So here you can also practice in this way. No articulation of the fingers, just shaking the arm, shaking the hands to really have a very deep, very profound touch, you know? Usually I do things like this, little periods, you know. I cut the measure in little pieces so we can prepare to play fast, you know? To learn all the positions. Like this, it's easier to finally put together the whole measure. I separate the measures and work them like this to make sure the fingers go to the right place. They are all as deep as the others, you know. So all the fingers are as deep. Each finger is as deep as the others, and so there's no problem, you know. And we play very, very deep inside the keyboard. Very much into the key. So we arrive here, variation 30. It's very calm. It's again a little bit intimate, and it prepares for the last two variations. So nothing very special, just a very contained movement. Towards the keyboard and leaving, because it has to be played like this. You cannot, it's not legato. It's not legato. Variation 31. Now, variation 31 and the beginning of variation 32 have this left hand now I see it like this because for me this is a special acoustic effect. We don't want to hear. We don't want to hear this. It's not a mechanical exercise. You know? This is an acoustic effect. For me, it gives the effect of something that's going to come, you know, a mysterious thing that's going to come. And it's like a rumor, like a woo, woo, woo. So you have to play very much inside the keys, no articulation at all. It's not so profound. It's not so profound like the others we've seen before, like variation 29, for example. It's not so profound. It's more superficial. But with the pedal and not playing very strong, you get this effect. First part of variation 32 that follows what was going on, then with the right hand playing these games up and down. So this effect continues until it arrives here. Like a second variation inside the variation, and then it's going to lead to a third variation inside the variation, so with a different character. So here, just simple staccato. And the right hand just very, very alive, very dynamic. Just finger movement. Here I play not so profound either, you know. It's very, very into the clavier, but the keyboard, but not so deep. How do I get, what is the difference? When I play these scales of variation 32, I play very much more inside the piano. Much more to the bottom, but not here. Here it's much more superficial. What do? I lift the arm more. Here I don't. Here I have my arm very much down, but not here. Here I lift the arm. So I can control, have another sound, because what happened here? It's an explosion almost of joy, you know, there's some tremendous energy that was prepared by this first part of variation 31 and 32 that comes here. Now here the mystery is gone, the rumor is finished, because it's like the sun has just risen. So we want a very happy, very bright effect that cannot be if I do. It doesn't come with the movement, with the feeling. So we are joyful, we need something lighter. All the way until it reaches this second variation inside the variation, that is this one. So, here, what happens? We have this movement 2 by 2. has to be like that, you know, the same fingering and 2 by 2, you know. So what do? We just link, you know, legato here and jump. And here very, very light, very alive chords that again I take out of the piano. I don't give, I don't go. It doesn't go with the spirit again. See? It has to be much lighter. So we just take it from a very small movement, a very, very short. And here the left hand again with the same, and here also, and the right and now everything changes. So here, and the chant is here. In fact, these variations that begin more dramatically at the beginning, here it's like a victory, something happy, something that really ends very, very happy, very bright. So here we just have this left hand that gives a support to this little melody of the right hand. Now, here I lift the arm also to vibrate more, you see. Otherwise it could be. It doesn't pass, you see, the feeling of joy, of it's really a feeling of happiness, of liberation, mostly I would say liberation. Discreet ending, as someone who says, okay, it's finished. Just this And so we don't play very staccato very quickly, because it should really give the impression of something that ends. So these octaves are not so hard like the others. You see, they are. They jump. They don't. They are not hard, So. Freer arm also, and this. Liberating, and the body liberates as well, see, until the end. So, we've had it, and I hope it's an interesting way of presenting these 32 variations.